Hello, welcome, day 16. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is the second take for day 16. I have just filmed the whole video. I think it was 10 minutes long, and I rewatched it, and I simply can't bring myself to upload it. I did kind of the same approach as I did that other video where I spoke about my Pokemon collection, and I just I can't do it. Seriously, I felt so ingenuine to myself and to everyone that I'm speaking to. I don't want to come across as fake or anything because that's not my goal ultimately. And I've just decided that that video doesn't exist. So this is take 2 of day 16. Now, as you can tell, I'm still sick, but I'm feeling a lot better than I even was yesterday, which is great. It's amazing because I have been working. I did have work this morning, an early start, obviously, as always, but I didn't feel like I was struggling anywhere near as much with speaking. Still have to clear my throat, obviously, but I apart from sounding blocked, I was generally okay. Like, I still have a slight headache from yesterday. My ears are still blocked, which is probably the most annoying part, and my sinuses are still blocked, but I don't feel as bad. I feel a lot better. Quickly, elephant in the room, my bed is not made. I'm changing my bed sheets today, which is why it is so, looks so bad. So please forgive that. What I want to talk about a little bit today is just, and it's funny saying that out loud because I just said that I've already tried to record this, and I did record it, and I spoke about the same thing, but just the way I delivered it just wasn't me. So I just wanted to get something a bit more real out. But what I spoke about was just a bit of history about my favorite games, some of the games I played growing up, and what I currently play. So I think it'll be good to start from the bottom, which is 2010 is when I first got into games properly. I was 5 years old. That's when I was introduced to both the Wii, so all the Wii sports games, Mario Kart, all that, and Call of Duty Black Ops 1 was a game that I had on the PS3. Now, I'm very lucky that I had both of those things as a kid. It's a luxury, honestly, for someone my age to be spoiled with both consoles. So I have no one but my mum to thank for that. I love her very much, obviously. And yeah. So I don't have a set of notes with me today either. So it might be a bit harder to remember things in the past, such as every game I've played. But I'll try to highlight kind of every major game that I kind of got into growing up. So as I mentioned, Call of Duty Black Ops 1 was my first proper game. Then I got into Call of Duty Black Ops 2, which is to this day one of my favorite games of all time. I think it had the best multiplayer of any Call of Duty. I think it had the second best campaign and zombies of any Call of Duty. So I think overall it's probably my favorite one of the franchise so far. For the Wii, I got into Super Mario Galaxy 2. I didn't play the first one ever, but that was also one of my favorite games of all time, to be honest. I just loved, as a kid, it's like the perfect game as a kid. It's so colorful, it's so unique, it's so creative, and the gameplay still to this day I think is super fun. Now, multiplayer for that game absolutely sucked, if you've ever played it before. Basically, I forgot what they're called. They're not Puffles. They're from Club Penguin. They're little star guys. They basically worked as the second player, where you just, essentially all you could do was shoot. There's these things in the game called Starbits, where you essentially can shoot them at enemies or shoot them at things to activate them. That's all you could do as the second player. You didn't really play the game. You just shot things, which wasn't great. But I still had fun as a kid, which is all that mattered. But obviously playing as, Mario was the main thing, was the fun part. So yeah, those games really stood out to me as children. Sorry, as a child. Then I grew up, got into Minecraft obviously. When that first came out, I think I first started playing it in 2011. I don't know exactly when it came out. I think it probably came out 2010. I could be wrong with these dates, but that is another big game in my childhood. I think most people watching this have also played Minecraft, obviously, but I am 21, so when it came out, or when I was playing it, sorry, I was 6 years old. So that's definitely a core memory for me, was that game. You know, I can still remember my first house ever was a glowstone house I built in Creative, and I had pet dogs, pet wolves, and then my brother ended up blowing up the house, and I was really sad. And I remember like hating him for the whole week, which is valid, very justified. I think he deserved all the hatred he got for what he did. But yeah, it's interesting that I mentioned as well that I don't remember most of the games growing up, just because a couple years ago found a website called My Game List where you can track all of the games you played, and you can kind of rank them or just track them in like a spreadsheet or something. And I think that's really cool because it kind of made me remember games that I played in the past that I haven't thought about or haven't played in 10 plus years, which is really cool. I made one of those and I put in every single game that I currently have played. I would say I don't include live service or multiplayer games purely just because, let's take a game that I've played a lot of, Overwatch. That was one of my most played multiplayer games. I've played it from 2016 to Overwatch 2, so I've got a long history with it. I would say at certain points that game is like a 9 to 9.5 out of 10. Great peak multiplayer shooter, amazing. But then there's other points where, maybe a certain hero's meta or something, or I don't know, something happens and the game goes from that 9.5 to 9 to like, I don't know, a 6 to a 6.5. Not going to say 6 to a 7, because that is very funny. But yeah, that is why I don't include those kind of games. So I usually only include games that you can play from start to finish. You can finish the game, which is why it's mostly just story games or puzzle games. Like, for example, I have games like Plants vs. Zombies or Geometry Dash. I played a lot of, I think I've mentioned, I played a lot of Geometry Dash growing up. Well, less growing up, more in year 7 and year 8, so 2017 and 2018. I think on Steam I've got around 600 hours sunk into that game. And I think that's not including the time that I spent having the game open in offline mode, or when I had no connection. I'm not sure if it counts the hours when you're in offline mode, just because when I was at school, obviously, you can't connect to the internet. So, yeah. I'm trying to think of other games that I played that were significant to me, but I forgot. I guess I can talk about my favorite games, which will kind of just be the most significant games of my life growing up. I'll just try to think of my top 3. I think I've got a good idea of what my top 3 games of all times would be. I think the third game would be Expedition 33, if you've heard of that. It's a pretty recent game, actually. It's one of the most recent games that I probably played. It came out last June, and it's a turn-based RPG. Now, I'm not a big fan of turn-based RPGs, which is why I was a bit hesitant to go into it. However, it definitely blew me away, both graphically, story-wise, music-wise. It's a pretty flawless game. The soundtrack, I'm still listening to this day. It is some of the best music, or the best soundtracks I've heard from a game before. It's rare that a game will stick out to me that much, where I'm listening to the music like, years later. A couple other games like that exist, like, for example, Undertale, and I mean, some Geometry Dash songs I actually listen to, like Back on Track and Cycles, are some of my favorite songs from that game. But another game that is similar to that, which I actually would probably rank as my number 1 game of all time, is modded Terraria, more specifically Calamity Mod. from Terraria. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially a community-made mod, which basically expanded Terraria so much. Like it added so much more content. It added a bit of a story as well that I don't think is fully developed yet. But it added just so much to the game. And I think just pure enjoyment-wise, which at the end of the day, that's how I'm ranking. Excuse me. That's how I'm ranking the games that I play, is enjoyment. I think pure enjoyment-wise, that's probably the most fun I've ever had on a game. Excuse me. And then I think that, depending on the day, I would put that number one. Some days, what I would also put number one is, it's less a game, it's more of a franchise, Call of Duty Zombies. I mean, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I absolutely love that game, and I speak about it, and I'm trying to make videos on it, which is actually why I started this channel, was because I was trying to make a video on Call of Duty Zombies. But yeah, the franchise itself is probably, has some of the best moments I've ever had playing games. Some of the best games, like Black Ops 4 Zombies, I think is the best Zombies game. And then you've got Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2, just great games overall. And those were super fun. I wish for this I had some notes, because I'm realizing I don't really know what to talk about to do with games, or I don't remember much if I haven't planned anything out. But I guess that's fine, right? It's good practice to speak from the top of the head. I can't even speak, saying that, funny. Speak from the dome. Just because I feel like if I'm constantly working from a script, I can plan out my sentences better, which isn't always better, because I'm not exposing myself to any moments where I need to, stop, for example. Instead of saying, I just need to pause, think about it for a little bit, and then start speaking again. So I think a video like this, where I'm not scripting anything, is much better. But I am aware, and I do think it's quite unfortunate that this is the second take, because I haven't done that with a video yet. Actually, I've only done first takes and been not comfortable with them. Definitely not. I'm still not comfortable watching these videos back, but I understand that, like, hey, that's okay, that's normal. But today's video, I definitely felt the most uncomfortable with, and I really wasn't happy releasing it, just because it wasn't me. I was just acting like a completely different person, and I don't want that to be kind of what I eventually turn into, because I'm trying to improve myself, not trying to become somebody else. So yeah, cool. Okay, I'll probably leave it off there. That was day 16. I think yesterday I said it was day 16, but that was day 15. Obviously, if you saw the title, this is day 16. I think it'll be cool if, you guys leave some comments about some games that you've played. What are some of your favorite games? I'm really bad at asking people to leave comments without sounding like I'm just fishing for comments, but I think it would be fun to kind of look at what some people's favorite games are. But yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to, obviously. Thank you for being here regardless. I will try to get something out. I will get something out tomorrow, and I will get something out Thursday and Friday, obviously. I should probably show the date quickly. There we go. Tuesday, 4th of August, 1 p.m. I have work at 4:15 p.m. today. Back in the gym, so I have to get some stuff done for today and then go back and work. Which again, when you're sick, isn't fun. I think working when you're sick is literally worse than everything in the world, obviously. I'm kidding. I just don't like it. But I have to deal with it. And I'm getting better, so that's all that matters. Okay, cool. That was day 16. I will see everyone tomorrow for day 17. Goodbye.